Alright, now we are going to learn how to deal with matching type of questions. This is very common in listening part 2 and part 3. You will never get matching in part 1 and part 4. Only part 2 and part 3. Okay. By the way, multiple choice matching. These question types are very common in part 3 and part 2. Okay. Now what happens in matching? In matching they give you questions which you have to match with the options. Questions remain same, but options they change. How do they change? They reword them. They paraphrase the options. So I'm going to tell you how do they paraphrase the options. First of all, let's take a look at the questions. Locations on the farm. First we read the topic, main question. Please follow. Questions 15 to 20. Which activity is offered at each of the following locations on the farm? So you will match activities with location. Okay. And by the way, this audio is in question order. Question number 15. What is it? Diary. Well done. Excellent. Huh? You will make more progress. Question number 15 is dairy. 16 is large barn. So in the audio, they will talk about them very, very clearly. When they give you half minute to read the questions, you don't have to read questions. You will read options, because options are more important. Now I'm going to tell you how to read the options. Okay, 1 second, let's make it bigger. Yeah, please follow me now. Activities. Option A, shopping. Now they are not very good that in the audio they will say you can do shopping and you say shopping. A, good. Okay, they will not use the word shopping. Okay, maut padti hai while doing this. They will say you can purchase things from there. You can buy souvenirs from there. Buy, purchase, sale, sell, anything like that. It means it is shopping. Option B, watching cows being milked. Now you can see the cows and the farmer is milking the cows and all that. Option C, seeing old farming equipment. For that they will use the word, there will be a display of ancient farming tools. Display. Display means you can see. Option D, eating and drinking. Now they will not use the word eating and drinking. They will say you can have a nice sandwich with coffee. Nice sandwich with coffee. What does that mean? Eating and drinking. Option E, starting a trip. So they will talk about a place and they will say from there your trip will start. Okay. Option F, seeing rare breeds of animals. Rare breeds, that means unusual breeds of animals. Rare breeds. So a location where you can see that. And option G, helping to look after animals. Helping to look after animals means you can give a bath to a cow. Right? Yeah, that's what the other day I heard in Punjabi. Majnu jinna marzi nawalo gaani ban sakdi. Something like that. Okay. So, yeah. Helping to look after animals means you will help the farmer take care of donkeys, cows, buffaloes and all that. Option H, using farming tools. Now listen, two options are same. Two options are alike. That is option C and option H. And the difference is in option C, you will only see. And in option D, you will use them. You will practically use, or in option H, sorry, you will practically use farming tools. So if they say you will be able to see the farming tools, please don't touch them. They are very dangerous. That is option C. And if they say you will learn how to use farming tools by using them yourself, then it is option H. Okay. Now, we go back to questions. Question number 15. What is question number 15? Diary. Dairy. Okay, that's good. Yeah, you said dairy.
We'll also be going into the farm that's part of the estate. We'll also be going into the farm that's part of the estate. Where there's plenty to We'll also be going into
just
the
a second.
farm. We'll also be going into the farm that's part of the estate, where there's plenty to do. Most of the buildings date from the 18th century, so you can really step back into an agricultural past. Until recently, the dairy was where milk from the cows was turned into cheese. It's now the place to go for lunch, or afternoon tea, or just a cup of coffee and a slice of homemade cake.
Okay, so what's the right answer? Watching cows being milked. Yes, he said that. He said that. I heard it. Eating and drinking. Well done. Correct answer is option D. And that was a trap. Watching cows being milked. He said it's not a place for cows and all that. Okay? Now please listen.
We'll also be going into the farm that's part of the estate, where there's plenty to do. Most of the buildings date from the 18th century, so you can really step back into an agricultural past. Until recently, the dairy was where milk from the cows was turned into cheese.
Until recently, where dairy was the place where milk from the cows turned into cheese. Turned into cheese, not watching cows being milked. Right? Until recently.
It's now the place to go for lunch.
It's now the place. It's means dairy. It's now the place to go for lunch.
Or afternoon tea.
Or afternoon tea. Now lunch is eating and afternoon tea is drinking. This is how they talk. Okay, so correct answer is option D. Question number 16. Large barn. Okay, it's more like a big hall in the farmhouse where they have different animal and all that.
The big stone building that dominates the farm is the large barn. And in here is our collection of agricultural tools. These were used in the past to plough the earth, sow seeds, make gates, and much more.
So we have a collection of agricultural tools which were used in the past. Did he say anything that you will use them? No, not using. It's only seeing old farming equipment. Correct answer is C. He said our collection of old farming tools. So correct answer is C. Alright, please just focus this again.
I see there are a number. The big stone building that dominates the farm is the large barn. And in here is our collection of agricultural tools. These were used in the past.
Our collection of agricultural tools. These were used in the past. What do they mean by these? Agricultural tools. These were used in the past.
To plough the earth.
To plough
sow
the earth.
Seeds. Make gates. And much.
Okay, they were used in the past. They didn't say you will use them to plough the earth, to sow the seeds and all that. So correct answer is C. Now, question number 17. Small barn.
There's a small barn, also made of stone, where you can groom the donkeys and horses to keep their coats clean. They really seem to enjoy having it done, and children love grooming them.
Grooming donkeys. Yeah, grooming donkeys. What does it mean? Helping to look after animals. Exactly. Option G. And you need to understand this type of language. Language which is written in front of you and the language that is coming in your ears. Both languages are entirely different in wording, absolutely same in meaning. So you need to learn that. And how to learn it? Through practice. Whenever you practice, you need to just focus that. Next, they have stables. Do you know what a stable is? A place where they have horses. Stable is related to that. But let's see, it's sales. They are always doing something else, okay?
The horses no longer live in the stables, which instead is the place to go to buy gifts, books, our own jams and pickles, and clothes and blankets made of wool.
Okay, so stable is the place to buy gifts. Pickle, blankets, this and that and all that. So that is shopping. Right answer is A. So for shopping, they use the word buy gifts. Buy gifts, it means shopping. Okay. Question number 19, shed. Now let's see what do they do at the shed.
Outside the shed, which is the only brick building, you can climb into a horse-drawn carriage for a lovely, relaxing tour of the park and farm.
Okay, you can climb on horse-drawn carriage for a lovely, relaxing tour of the farm. It is option E, starting a trip. And how to start a trip? You can climb onto that horse-drawn vehicle. Okay? So option E will be the right answer. Now again, find connection between starting a trip and this option.
Outside the shed, which is the only brick building, you can climb into a horse-drawn carriage for a lovely, relaxing tour of the park and farm.
Okay, for a lovely, relaxing tour. So that means you can climb onto it. It's the beginning of a trip or starting a trip. Question number 20, parkland.
And finally, the parkland, which was laid out in the 18th century with a lake and trees that are now well established. You'll see types of cattle and sheep that are hardly ever found on farms these days.
Okay, you will find cattle and sheep that are hardly ever found in farms these days. Cattle and sheep hardly ever found, that is seeing rare breeds of animals. For rare breeds, he used the word hardly ever found. Okay, so correct answer for question number 20 is F. Well done. That's okay, now we've got matching type of questions in listening part 1. Questions 16 to 20. What information is given about each of the following activities on offer? So information and activities. You have to match these two things. Information with activities. You see, activities are questions and there is no real information there. Like Spanish, music, painting. So when they give you half minute to read the questions, don't read questions. Instead of that, you have to read the options. Now, let's see. Option A has limited availability. For limited availability means it is available for 7 days. It is available for the month of February only. Limited availability. Or we offer it once a year. Once a year also means limited availability. Option B is no longer available. No longer available means we don't offer it anymore. Now it is not offered or we have just finished it. Option C is for over 8s only. Over 8 is the age group. Right? Over 8. Anyone who is more than 8. 10, 11, 12, 13. Over 8. 8 is the minimum age. So over 8 means minimum age bracket is 8. Option D requires help from parents. Require help. For require help, they commonly use the word support. Support from parents. Right? Option E involves an additional fee. Additional fee, for that they can use the word £5 extra. £3 extra. Right? Option F is a new activity. For new activity, they use the word we have just introduced or we have just started or we have offered another new, like that. And option G was requested by children. For requested by children, they may say children kept asking. Children requested us. Children insisted us. Children wanted to do that. Okay. Now, question number 16, Spanish. This hand will follow the question and the pencil hand will move between the options.
So now let me tell you about some of the activities that your child can do during the after-school sessions. As well as being able to use the playground equipment, computers, and the library, there is usually at least one special activity that children can do each day. For example, Spanish. We have a specialist teacher coming in every Thursday to give a basic introduction to the language through games and songs. She does 2 sessions, one for the over 8s and one for the younger children. This is the only activity which we have to make an extra charge for, but it's well worth it.
Okay, this is the only activity that we have to offer with an extra charge for. It is option E, involves an additional fee. Extra charge and additional fee. So correct answer is option E. Question number 17, music.
Once a week, the children have the opportunity to do some music. We're very lucky that one of our staff is a member of a folk band. On Mondays, she teaches singing and percussion to groups of children. We do rely on parental support for this, so if any of you sing or play an instrument and would be prepared to help out at these sessions, we'd be delighted.
Okay, we do rely on parental support. Parental support means requires help from parents. That is option D. You understand now? They always use synonyms like this. Question number 18, painting. Now, what do they say about that?
Painting continues to be one of the most popular activities. To begin with, we weren't keen on offering this because of the extra mess involved. But children kept asking if they could do some art, and so we finally gave in.
Okay, children kept asking. That means requested by children. Well done. G is the right answer. Okay, question number 19, yoga.
Yoga is something that we've been meaning to introduce for some time, but haven't been able to find anyone available to teach it. Until now, that is. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, children will benefit in all sorts of ways from this.
Okay, yoga is something that we wanted to introduce, right? But we were unable to do that. Until now, that is. What does it mean? That now we offer yoga. So when they offer yoga, it's a new activity. Please listen again.
Yoga is something that we've been meaning to introduce for some time.
We've been meaning to introduce for some time. Means we wanted to introduce for some time. We've been meaning to introduce for some time.
But haven't been able to find anyone available to teach it. Until now, that is.
Until now, that is. Means it happened until now, but now we have yoga classes.
How's your time management these days?
Okay.
Yoga is something, hopefully, children will benefit. Till now, that is. So we'll see how this goes.
We'll see how this goes. This means yoga. We'll see how this goes means it is a new activity. Option F. Question number 20, cooking.
Cooking is another popular activity. They make a different sort of cake or pizza or bread each week. Although the younger children love doing it, we found that the mess was just too much. So we've decided to restrict this to the over 8s, as they are better able to clean up after themselves.
Okay, we've decided to restrict this to over 8s. Over 8s is option C. Okay? All right. Okay, now we go on and we've got matching type of questions, and this is IELTS listening part 3, and part 3 is what I call elephant of IELTS listening. It's a little confusing for students, but I'll try my level best to elaborate that to you. Those who are attending online, you can enlarge the screen. The screen which I'm sharing with you, you can always enlarge the screen. There is no problem. up to the device you are using and all that. Yeah. Okay. Now, first we read the question. What did findings of previous research claim? Underline, findings of previous research claim. About the personality traits a child is likely to have because of their position in the family. Position in the family. Like you are eldest, youngest, middle child, or you have elder brother, younger sister. So that is what we call position in the family. So what did findings of previous research claim? Now listen, you will only focus what the research claims. Right? According to research, I should be. That will be the right answer. And if someone says, well, I am, if he doesn't talk about research and say something, that will not be the answer. Now, when they give you time to read the questions, you don't need to read the questions. Look at the questions. Eldest child, middle child, youngest child, twin. There is no such information there. All the information is in the box, personality traits. And by the way, they are going to use synonyms for all these words. For instance, personality traits, outgoing. Now, what is outgoing? Someone who is friendly, someone who socializes with others, someone who mixes up with others, we call him outgoing child. So they will not use the word outgoing. They may use the word friendly, or talking to others, or making friends easily. That is outgoing. Next is selfish. For selfish, they may say who thinks of himself. Yeah, self-opinionated, or someone who thinks the world revolves around him only. Selfish. Or who don't care for others. Someone who doesn't care for others, we call him selfish. Option C, independent. Independent when you do things on your own. When you study on your own, when you do some cooking on your own, when you can change your clothes on your own, you become an independent child. Next, attention seeking. Someone who wants to be in the spotlight, under the spotlight. Or someone who wants others to pay attention to him, right? Who wants that. So that is attention seeking. Introverted. Introverted is someone who doesn't mix up with others. Someone who doesn't talk to others, who is not friendly, who does not socialize with others, we call him introverted. Cooperative. Someone who works with others, or children who play together as a team, we call him cooperative. Caring. For caring, commonly they use the word nurturing. Caring or nurturing. And last is competitive or competitive. So competitive means someone who competes. A child. Nurturing is caring. Nurturing and caring. And last is competitive. When you compete with others. When you want to be the best. You want to be the first. It means you are competitive. Okay. Now, question number 21. Eldest child. And again, I'm telling you, according to the study, according to the research, if the speaker says, I am the eldest child and I am selfish. Now, it is not according to the studies. If he says, I am the eldest child and according to the studies, I have to be selfish. According to the studies, according to research, as the research says, as the research suggests. So that will be the answer. But if they give you a personal opinion, that will not be the right answer. So let's see.
Ed, how are you getting on with the reading for our presentation next week?
Well, okay, Ruth, but there's so much of it.
I know. I hadn't realised birth order was such a popular area of research.
But the stuff on birth order and personality is mostly unreliable. From what I've been reading, a lot of the claims about how your position in the family determines certain personality traits are just stereotypes, with no robust evidence to support them.
Okay, but that's an interesting point. We could start by outlining what previous research has shown. There are studies going back over 100 years.
Yeah, so we could just run through some of the typical traits. Like the consensus seems to be that oldest children are generally less well-adjusted because they never get over the arrival of a younger sibling.
Right, but on a positive note, some studies claim that they were thought to be good at nurturing. Certainly in the past, when people had large families, they would have been...
Okay, some studies claim that they were good at nurturing. Some studies claim they were good at nurturing. What does it mean? Caring. Exactly. Option G. Please listen to this last part again.
By outlining what previous research...
Could just run through some of the typical traits. Like the consensus seems to be that oldest children are generally less well adjusted because they never get over the arrival of a younger sibling.
Right, but on a positive note, some studies claim that they...
See, on a positive note, some studies claim, and that's the question. What did findings of previous research claim? Some studies claim
they were thought to be good at nurturing.
They were thought to be good at nurturing.
Certainly in the past, when people had large families, they would have been expected to look after the younger ones.
Okay, see, eldest sister is taking care of the brother or sister, like that. Okay, question number 22. Middle child. You know, middle child who has one elder sibling and one younger sibling. Middle child.
There isn't such a clear picture for middle children, but one trait that a lot of the studies mention is that they are easier to get on with than older or younger siblings.
Generally eager to please and helpful, although that's certainly not accurate as far as my family goes. My middle brother was a nightmare, always causing fights and envious of whatever I had.
Okay, but she said my middle brother. It means it's not according to research. What is according to research? That's what she mentioned in the beginning.
There isn't such a clear picture for middle children, but one trait that a lot of the studies mention is that they are easier to get on with than older or younger siblings.
They are easier to get along with their older or younger sibling. What is that? Cooperative. Option F. Easier to get along. Easier to get along means cooperative. Right? F will be the right answer for that. Now, we've got question number 23. It's not A, it's F. Question number 23, youngest child.
As I said, none of this seems to relate to my own experience. I'm the youngest in my family, and I don't recognise myself in any of the studies I've read about. I'm supposed to have been a sociable and confident child who made friends easily.
I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be means according to the studies. I'm supposed to be sociable and confident child who made friends easily. Which option? Well done. Outgoing. I'm supposed to be sociable and confident child who made friends easily.
But I was actually terribly shy.
But I was actually terribly shy. That's how he was. But according to studies, I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be. What we are looking for is according to studies. Right? Okay, please listen to this again.
As I said, none of this seems to relate to my own experience. I'm the youngest in my family, and I don't recognise myself in any of the studies I've read about. I'm supposed to have been a sociable and confident child who made friends easily, but I was actually terribly shy.
Really? That's funny.
Okay, I was actually terribly shy, but I was supposed to be a confident child who made friends easily. Question number 24, twin. Now, let's see, what do they say about twins?
There have been hundreds of studies on twins, but mostly about nurture versus nature.
There was one on personality which said that a twin is likely to be quite shy in social situations because they always have their twin around to depend on for support.
Okay, a twin is shy in social situations. Which option is that? E, introvert. A twin is shy in social situations. Alright. Yasin is also a twin. He's got his twin. Yeah, really. When I met his twin brother first time, I took him for him. And I said, hey, where are you going? And he said, excuse me. And then I realized, oh, both are different. So he got married. After that, his brother got married. To avoid confusion, his brother has a beard now. Yeah, there were a couple of incidents of misunderstanding. So then his brother decided to have beard. Now the wives can easily identify them. Yeah. Once he went back home for lunch and his wife said, "You've just had your lunch now." And he said, "No, I'm hungry." So anyways, yeah. Okay, let's go on. An only child means no brother, no sister. Yeah.
My cousins were like that when they were small. They were only interested in each other and found it hard to engage with other kids. They're fine now, though.
Only children have had a really bad press. A lot of studies have branded them as loners who think the world revolves around them because they've never had to fight for their parents' attention.
Okay, they are loners who think the world revolves around them because they never have to fight for anything with their parents. What does it mean? They are selfish. Option B. Loners who think the world revolves around them. Word revolves around them means it's only me, no one else. Question number 26. A child with much older siblings. Okay? So, let's see.
That does seem a bit harsh. One category I hadn't considered before was children with much older siblings. A couple of studies mentioned that these children grow up more quickly and are expected to do basic things for themselves, like getting dressed.
I can see how that might be true, although I expect they're sometimes the exact opposite, playing the baby role and clamouring for special treatment.
So, according to study, they are independent. Please focus this thing again. Independent.
That does seem a bit harsh. One category I hadn't considered before was children with much older siblings. A couple of studies mentioned that these children grow up more quickly and are expected to do basic things for themselves.
These children grow up much quickly and they are expected to do basic things for themselves. When you do basic things for yourselves, you are independent. Okay? So C will be the right answer for that. Okay, now we've got questions 26 to 30 and we call it matching type of questions. For matching, first of all, you need to read the question. And the question is, what decision do the students make about each of the following parts of their presentation? Parts of presentation and decision. You're going to match them. Okay, if you take a look at parts of the presentation, questions 26 to 30, you can see there is no real information. For example, question number 26 is historical background, 27 is geographical factors, and they will not change the wording. Wording and order of questions will never be changed, right? They are going to change the decisions, the language of decisions. So we are going to focus decisions. When they give you half minute to read the questions, you will read the options actually. Option A, use visuals. Now what is visual? PowerPoint, picture, a clip from a movie and all that. We call it visual. Option B, keep it short. Keep it short. For example, if they say now our presentation is of 30 minutes, we have to make it to 15 minutes. Keep it short. Or we have to reduce it by 1/3. We have to reduce it by 1/3 means keep it short. Option C, involve other students. Very simple. Interact with the audience. Or we will ask the audience. Or we will ask questions from the audience. Or we will ask the audience to ask us. Anything like that. Whenever they talk about audience, interaction, it's option C. Option D, check the information is accurate. Like we need to see whether the facts are correct. Information is right, accurate, right, correct, and all that. Provide a handout. Very simple. If they say we'll give a handout, we'll give a leaflet, we'll give a handout to everybody, or we will distribute a handout. Option F, focus on one example, underline one example, and they will not use the word example, right? It just say we will present the case study of Pakistan. we will present the case study of Pakistan. What is that? Focus on one example. One example is case study of Pakistan. Something like that. Now don't wait for the word example. Example will come and I'll write it down. In part 3, they check your high level English. In part 1, they speak a word, you write it down. So from part 2 and 3, they check your understanding for ideas. Next, G, do online research. For online, they use the word website. I will check it on website. They don't use Google because it will be the marketing for Google. So they use the word website. I'll check it on the web. I'll check it on the internet. Or there is a website, I'll check it there. So, question number 26. Historical background. Now, as the audio continues, your eyes will move through the options and then you can decide and write the right option.
So, I think we've probably got enough for our presentation. It's only 15 minutes.
OK, so I suppose we'll begin with some general historical background about why coastal cities were established. But we don't want to spend too long on that. The other students will already know a bit about it. It's all to do with communications and so on.
Yes.
So, option B. We don't want to spend that long on that. All the students would already know that. That is option B.
So, I think we've probably got enough for our presentation. It's only 15 minutes.
OK, so I suppose we'll begin with some general historical background about why coastal cities were established. But we don't want to spend too long on that.
All right, we don't want to spend too long on that.
The other students will already know a bit about it. It's all to do with communications and so on.
Okay,
Yes.
so historical background, they're going to keep it short. And for that, he said, we don't want to spend too long on that or that long on that. Question number 27, geographical factors.
We should mention some geographical factors, things like wetlands and river estuaries and coastal erosion and so on. We could have some maps of different cities with these features marked.
On a handout, you mean? Or some slides everyone can see?
Yeah, that'd be better.
Okay, slides that everyone can see. That would be better. A map they want to show. And the boy said handout and the lady said no, on a slide. So that is visual. Exactly. Use visuals. A is the right answer for that. Okay, past mistakes. What do they say about that?
It'd be good to go into past mistakes in a bit more detail. Did you read that case study of the problems there were in New Orleans with flooding a few years ago?
Yes, we could use that as the basis for that part of the talk. I don't think the other students will have read it, but they'll remember hearing about the flooding at the time.
Okay, case study of New Orleans. Now, New Orleans case study, that is focus on one example, right? And they will repeat these ideas, these things in other tests as well. So, correct answer for that is option F. Case study of New Orleans. What is that? Focus on one example. One example is New Orleans and the flooding there. Question number 29, future risks. So let's see what do they say about future risks.
So then we'll go on to talk about what action's been taken to deal with the problems of coastal cities.
OK, what else do we need to talk about? Maybe something on future risks, looking more at the long term if populations continue to grow?
Yeah, we'll need to do a bit of work there. I haven't got much information. Have you?
No, we'll need to look at some websites. Shouldn't take too long.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll need to look at some website. I don't have much information. He said, me too. So I'll have to look at some website. Looking at the website is option G. That is do online research. Okay, question number 30. International implications. This is the part of their presentation and you don't need to understand the meaning of implications and all that. Just see what are they going to do with this part of their presentation.
And I think we should end by talking about international implications. Maybe we could ask people in the audience. We've got people from quite a lot of different places.
That'd be interesting if we have time, yes. So now...
Okay, we will ask people from the audience. That'll be interesting. So, that's right. Involve other students and asking the audience. Now you understand at least how they play. Like the language on question booklet and the language of the audio and how they change these languages and all that. All right, now let's go on. We've got questions 25 to 30. What do Holly and her tutor agree? Now underline agree. Holly and tutor agree is an important aspect of each of the following events management skills. So questions are given. Communication, 25 is communication, 26 organization, and they will speak about these questions directly in the audio. They will not change them. So when they give you half minute, do not read questions because questions are straightforward and they will come in the audio directly. Instead of that, you will read the options, important aspects. Okay, option A, being flexible. For flexible, they can use the word make changes. Being flexible, right? Allow changes, make changes. You can alter the plan. When you alter the plan, it means you are flexible. So, being flexible is that. Option B, focusing on details. Now, when they say focusing on details, for that they can use the word pay attention to everything or every little thing. Pay attention to every little thing or all the points, anything like that. Option C, having a smart appearance. For that, they'll say dress up nicely, wear a nice dress, wear an elegant dress, wear elegant clothes, okay? That is having a smart appearance. D, hiding your emotions. For hiding your emotions, they can say don't show your feelings, control your emotions, or look calm. Look calm. Look calm means hide your emotions, right? Option E, relying on experts, depending on experts, depend on experts, rely on experts and all that. Option F, trusting your own views. Trusting your own views means believe in yourself, believe in your own opinion, believing in your own point of view, like that. Doing one thing at a time. So doing one thing at a time means don't start two things together. When they say don't start two things together, it means do one thing at a time. Option H, thinking of the future. Future in the time to come. For future, they can use the word next year, next month, afterwards, and all that. Now, question number 25, communication. Please listen and answer.
Now, the aim of your work placement is to give you the opportunity to develop the skills that an events manager needs. So, let's talk about those a bit.
Well, I think my communication skills are pretty good. I can talk on the phone to people and book venues and that kind of thing.
Good. Just remember, it isn't only about what you say. If you meet someone face-to-face and want to persuade them to be a sponsor, for example...
Oh, I'll dress up for that, sure.
Good.
I'll dress up for that. Good. I will dress up for that means... Exactly, having a smart appearance. I will dress up for that. Smart appearance and dress up for that. C is the right answer for question number 25. Question number 26, organization.
Let's go on to think about your organizational skills. You're working in a very people-based industry, and that means things won't always go to plan.
I guess it's being prepared to make changes that matters.
That's right. You may have to make an on-the-spot change to a timetable because of a problem you hadn't anticipated.
Just do it, okay?
So, yeah, changes, make changes, on-the-spot changes. That means being flexible. Now, being flexible means make changes. So, correct answer is A. Question number 27, time management.
How's your time management these days?
I'm working on it. I'm certainly better when I have a deadline, which is why this work suits me.
Yes, but it's how you respond as that deadline approaches.
I know I've got to look calm, even if I'm in a panic.
Just think to yourself, no one must know I'm under pressure.
Yeah, even though I'm multitasking like crazy.
Okay. No one mustn't know I am under pressure. Look calm. No one mustn't know I'm under pressure means hide your emotions. Well done. So correct answer for that is D. Question number 27, D. Question number 28, creativity.
Another skill that events managers need is creativity. Often your client has what we call the big picture idea, but it's up to the events manager to think of all the fine points that go to making it work.
Right. So I need to listen carefully to that idea and then fill in all the gaps.
That's right.
Okay. Fill in all the gaps. Okay, just focus again.
Another skill that events managers need is creativity. Often your client has what we call the big picture idea, but it's up to the events manager to think of all the fine points that go to making it work.
Okay, all the fine points that go to make it work means you need to focus on details. Exactly.
Right. So I need to listen carefully to that idea and then fill in all the gaps.
That's right.
Fill in all the gaps means focusing on details. B is the right answer for 28. Question number 29, leadership.
And you'll have a team working under you, so another key skill is leadership. Your team may have lots of ideas too, but you've got to make the ultimate choices. Do we have refreshments inside or out, for example?
Isn't it better to be democratic?
It's a nice idea, but you have the ultimate responsibility. So believe in what you think best. Be prepared to say, yes, that's a good idea.
Okay, believe in what you think is the best means trusting your own views. For trusting, they said believe in. F is the right answer. Question number 30.
What about the networking side of things? I know it's an area that a lot of students worry about because we don't have much experience to offer others.
But even without it, you can still be an interesting person with useful ideas, and the more people you impress, the better.
I guess that will help me when I apply for a real job.
Exactly. Think ahead. Remember what your ambitions are and keep them in mind.
Definitely.
Okay, think ahead. Think ahead means thinking of the future. For future, he used the word ahead. Think ahead, think of future. So H will be the right answer.